Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I decided to combine both the Asian Pacific Islander and Black History Month together because it's dealing with that of both races. So I'm here today to talk about Rush Hour 2. This movie came out in August of 2001. That's the same month and year I started college. I love this movie when it came out. I remember watching it on TV and everything. And, this movie is just so hilarious. However, this movie came out to mixed reviews, unlike the first one that had positive reviews. And probably the reason for that is that when you watch this movie, the humor in it seems very, very tamed. It's not as outrageous as the first movie. Also, with the first movie, it was the shock of, this whole cultural thing between, seeing an Asian man and a black man in the same movie. And it was shocking because, at first you didn't think he could speak English, then he does. And, these two go back and forth, not getting along. And now in this movie, they're friends and everything. They still bicker, yes, but it's not like last time. Also, there's no cool montage of them bonding with the whole war song. And so this is very much a continuation that takes off exactly where the last one left off. The last one left off with them going to China for a vacation. And, like I said before, I understand why it has some mixed reviews. It's just not, there was nothing shocking in this movie like the first and everything. It's kind of hard to recreate lightning in a bottle and everything, but it still is hilarious. And this movie is it's hilarious, it's funny, it had great action. I love that they split their time between China and America, but the humor was really watered down and tame to a certain degree. I remember Chris Tucker said that most people laughed at the bloopers more than the first movie, so they wanted to change it with the second. The physical comedy of the second movie is on point and better than the physical comedy of the first movie. So it's you had the first movie that's more hilarious with the jokes, and then you get the second movie that's more funny with the physical humor and stuff. But we do get to see Jackie fight more in this movie. And not only that, but we get to see Chris fight in this movie and do some stunt work and stuff, which in the first movie, he really didn't do much. You can kind of tell whenever there was a stunt double coming in for Chris in the first movie. And Chris his character mostly just shot the bad guys, didn't really fist fight them that much. But in this one, he's punching, he's kicking, this and that. His kicks aren't martial arts kicks. They're just a regular bicycle kick. And because he's so tall, it looks kind of awkward. But it was nice to see him get in the mood and everything, Plus, it was nice to see him and Jackie do some of the stunt work together when they was dangling from a skyscraper on a bamboo stick. And both men brought their A game. We have some new additions to this movie. We have new bad people and everything. This movie introduced me to Don Cheadle. But then after that, I didn't know who the heck he was because I didn't see him in nothing else until the MCU. But this movie, oh yes, it introduced me to Zhang Ziyi. And boy, let me tell you, I was head over heels when it came to her. And when it came to Rosalind Sanchez, who this movie also introduces. These are two gorgeous women and everything. And I love that little leg kick thing they did where they were trying to out wrestle the other one with their legs and stuff. I've seen Zhang Ziyi in a couple more movies, and I've seen Rosalind in a couple more TV shows and stuff. She was on Without a Trace. And she was on Devious Maids. And so, yeah, it was nice that they, added, new cast members and stuff. Sadly, we had to say goodbye to the old ones and everything. But it was nice to see some, some new blood in, the movie. And I remember when I saw this movie, before I saw Zhang Zi in this, I saw her, Jackie, and Chris at the MTV Music Awards or Movie Awards and stuff. And she was just starting to learn English and stuff. This was after the movie came out and, stuff like that. And she wore that beautiful long brown dress. And so in this movie, she speaks, but she only speaks in Mandarin and stuff because she didn't know English at that point in time. So her character is like this stone cold killer. And you do get scared when you look at her because she just looks that evil, especially when she wears all black with highlights of red in it. She just looks like scary and everything. Like you really think she will kill you and everything. And that's how like intimidating she is. And like I remember when I was watching the behind the scenes like bloopers and stuff, I remember like when I said this movie was a little bit more watered down from like the most outrageous stuff. Yes, some jokes still have not aged well. Chris' character isn't that racist towards Chinese people no more, but he still says some offensive stuff. Like, basically he's gonna slap Jackie back to Beijing or back to the Ming Dynasty and back to some other place. I can't remember where else. And then there's the joke where he's all like, is Tito, not Toto. Toto is what we ate for dinner last night. Meaning that, the whole myth of like in Chinese restaurants in America, Chinese people cook cats and dogs, which is just a myth. So jokes like that have not aged well, especially the one where Jackie's all like, I'm gonna slap Chris back to Africa and stuff. It's just kind of like, you hear that, and back then you didn't take no offense to it, but when you hear it now, it's just kind of like, yeah, it did not age well at all. And so, but like I said, the offensive jokes, there aren't that many this time around like there was in the first. In the first movie, though, there was offensive jokes left and right. But like, and there was one scene where Chris, the director, disgraced director Brett Ratner, wanted Chris to call Zhang Ziyi's character a B word and everything at the end of the movie with the bomb. But he refused to do that because Chris, at that point in time, he was starting to change his life around. Like, he didn't want to be in movies depicting him smoking, like, drugs. He didn't want to use certain profanity words no more because, he was like, his Christian faith and everything. So I remember seeing this on the DVD, them going back and forth with him not just wanting to use it. Now, Rosalind, she used it and everything, but Chris refused. And so because of that, this is probably why there isn't that many offensive jokes like there were in the first that are deemed like racist. Because, it was Jackie this time who pointed out, talking about the egg rolls and stuff like that. They're gonna chop those off and everything. But you didn't hear Chris really call nobody no like Asian food dishes like he did a lot in the first. And this like watered down tameness will continue in the third movie. The third movie has problems and stuff. It didn't pick up where the last one took off at. It was like a time gap, and everything just felt off with the third one. Still good. It's just something didn't feel right and everything. But one great thing about this movie that I love, and I wish they would have done more, was seeing the guys in China. Because we got to see Jackie in America, and his character was like a fish out of water. Now we get to see Chris's character, a fish out of water, in China. The problem is they didn't spend that much time there for some bizarre reason. They're only there for the first, 20 minutes or so, maybe 30. And then the rest, they're back in America. Maybe they was there in China a little bit longer. But 'cause I wanted to see Chris's character navigate around China a whole lot more, not understanding stuff. We only get a good glimpse of that, but not much and stuff. And that's really sad because the parts we got to see him navigating by himself was hilarious, but he fit in pretty well. That's the thing. And I wanted to see him more being like, I don't understand this, I don't understand that. But we only got small glimpses of it. Because for the most part, they're just there working Lee's cases and stuff. Another thing that's very shocking, well, one thing that's shocking about this movie is that Maggie Q only makes a cameo in this movie. I remember when she started to be big in America because of that Die Hard movie and the Nikita show she was the main star in. I read that she was in Rush Hour 2. And I'm just like, where is she at? I don't remember her. I'm like, was she one of the massage ladies or something? No, she's there in the very beginning of the movie in the car with that other lady when the guys pull up and Chris' character was hitting on them and stuff. I'm all like, how do you waste talent like that and stuff? But then the director did the same thing in the third movie with this other actress and stuff that's pretty big. And I'm just kind of like, I don't understand that. Now, another thing that has not aged well is some of the sexual humor and all this other stuff. Like the character of Chris, he always hits on women. That's just him all throughout the franchise. And, post the Me Too era, I can understand why that might rub some people the wrong way because he's constantly hitting on women and calling them pet names and this and that. Like, he'll just walk up to them and be like, hey, sweetie, how you doing? And always pursuing women, even when they, like, blow him off and stuff. And so in today's world, you wouldn't see nothing like that. That's probably one reason why the television show was not successful, because all the misogyny was gone, all the racist humor was gone, and it was just like a really bleak type show. So when they make Rush Hour 4, if they ever do, I don't know if some of them jokes are gonna land nowadays because they're gonna be somebody on the internet complaining and stuff, Because there's a scene where Rosalind's character is in her robe and then all of a sudden she starts to like undress while Jackie and Chris's character are spying on her from the building across the street with binoculars and everything. And it's to the point where she's literally just down in her underwear. And it's like lingerie underwear. Then when she wants to show the guys that she's a cop, she opens up her robe. You see her bra and it's a teeny tiny badge on her breast and everything. And something like that is not gonna go well in the climate that we live in post the Me Too era and stuff. But then to be fair, both guys were running down the street butt naked, but they had stuff covering up their private areas. But it just looks like regular men walking around with no shirts on and stuff. Like you couldn't see them in their actual underwear or nothing like that. And there is a scene where you see a man's butt cheeks and stuff. So some people could counter that, you know what I'm saying? Now, one thing that's crazy about this movie that I never knew. See, in the movie, they deal with fake money. The money is supposed to look so real that when it burns, instead of burning black, it burns red. And so apparently the money looked so realistic in real life. They had over $1 million of fake money. So supposedly some people on the crew, I don't know from which country, most likely America, because stole some of the fake money and tried to pass it off as real money. And they got busted by the U.S. Secret Service in real life. I never read an article about that, but it's supposedly on Wikipedia. So I'm gonna try to look a little bit harder to see if I can find any more evidence on that. But it's supposedly that happened. That is hilarious. But you gotta remember, in 2001, we were going. No, wait, we wasn't going through no hard times then because that tragic event didn't happen until like a month later and stuff. So they was just greedy. And so with this movie, we see the guys in China and we see Carter complaining that he wants to have fun on his vacation because for 2 whole weeks, they just been working Lee's cases. And so Carter feels betrayed by Lee, like, yo, man, I want to have some fun and everything. And so Lee takes a call from his boss and they go to a club. Unbeknownst to him, it's the gangster bar because they're looking for a guy named Ricky Tan, played by John Lone and everything. And so Ricky Tan is the man who murdered Lee's father 5 years ago. He's a former cop who was corrupt. And his dad tried to stop him and then got killed because of it. And now Ricky Tan is like one of the head leaders of this really famous gang and everything. So Carter's just there being himself, dancing and singing to Michael Jackson because Chris Tucker really knew Michael Jackson in real life. They were like best friends and stuff. And so because he's making like a fool of himself on stage, making all this attention, this is when Lee's all like, look, man, we're in a gangster bar. We're undercover. So this pisses off like, Carter and stuff. So they're looking for, Ricky Tan, but they see his like number one in charge and everything. They see that of Huli, I believe you say her name. That's played by Zhang Ziyi. And she looks so strong, so fierce. She always wears like a suit and everything with pants to it. All black and just red highlights. So they run outside, she fights them off, and then they're dangling from like a building and everything. One of the most hilarious lines that I didn't fly all these thousands of miles just to like, oh, no, wait, what was the line? I can't remember. I flew so many miles for this blank and everything. It's just so like hilarious. So anyway, there's a person who's constantly bombing places, right? And it's the Huli character. She dresses in disguise and she delivers a package and she's blowing up buildings. She blew up a place where so-called U.S. translators were at, but they're not U.S. translators. They work for the Secret Service because there's some funny money going around. And so like they think Ricky's involved in this. When they go to the massage parlor, Carter, he's all there, like, I don't care who country this is. Like, I'm gonna like, show my weight around. So he didn't know that Ricky Tan rolls with a bunch of gang members that's all inside the buildings. And so they fight the guys off only to get embarrassed by Huli, stripped down to their clothes, running around butt naked in Hong Kong and everything. Now, by this time, the U.S. Secret Service is there in China and they're imposing their will, telling Lee's boss, like, look, man, like, I don't care who country this is. There's like 2 U.S. like, Secret Service members were killed and we're taking control of this operation and your people are going to answer to us. Showing that dynamic of like 2 countries, two countries like, police force can't get along and everything, which is the emphasis of all 3 movies. So Carter's all pissed off and he leaves. Lee doesn't know it, and then Lee comes in and blows the place up. And Lee thinks that, Carter's dead. And there's like a sad little like montage of like Lee, in the car listening to, I can't believe it. Like I said, when this movie hasn't aged well, it has not. Listening to that of P. Diddy, who's known as Puff Daddy back then, Sean Combs. And the less you know about that man, the better, because he's going through some legal crap right now. And you know what? It's been a long time coming. So anyway, so he's just like dancing to him and everything while Carter's, navigating through like, the streets and getting leads on Ricky Tan. It leads them to like a boat of this famous man, Stephen Raines. And just like with the first movie, the actor has passed away. Alan King, this like famous like British guy. May he rest in peace. So he knows Isabella Molina, and that's played by that of Rosalind Sanchez. And so it's staged to look like Ricky Tan was killed by Lee, and he fell over in like, the water. So after all this and everything, they pissed off the Secret Service. Then, they head back to America, which Carter tells them you gotta follow the rich white man and everything, meaning Stephen Raines and stuff. And so this is when they spy on Isabella and Stephen Raines and stuff. And, they see Isabella getting the package. It's from Lee. So they assume it's a bomb. It's a hilarious bit, but it's not really a bomb. It's just the fake money and stuff. So this leads them to go down to Crenshaw and they meet Kenny, played by Don Cheadle, who's a black man with an Asian family in a Chinese restaurant down on Crenshaw, dressed like an actual Asian man with a long ponytail and everything like that. Don Cheadle, that man is hilarious. He should do more comedy. Look on YouTube. There's a video of him as Captain Planet. It is hilarious and stuff. So, like, after some more leads here and there, they go to like this place and get some nice outfits to go to a casino. And there they meet Jeremy Piven. And he got canceled as well, the nasty bomb. And so he got canceled, the director got canceled. Like I said, these movies has not aged well, and wait till you get to the third movie because another person who's gonna get canceled. So anyway, they're at the casino and everything, and they realize, oh look, Ricky Tan actually survived. I don't know how that man survived the water because he literally fell behind the boat, hit the raging waters. It's never explained how he survived and everything. But like the British dude Stephen Rains was gonna steal all the fake money and everything, and so he kills him, and then they strap a bomb to that of like Lee's mouth. But the problem is Isabella's all like her cover might be blown and her life's in danger, so she wants Lee to help, but Carter doesn't want to. There's a huge, massive fight that happens and everything, and so Lee finally gets revenge on that of Ricky Tan and everything. And so I think he kicked him off the building or something like that. Well, in comes Hu Lee, who we thought was dead because her and Carter had an exchange with each other where she got stabbed in like the collarbone. She comes in with a bomb acting all crazy, which causes both guys to hop out the window and swing their way to safety and everything. So after that, Isabella thanked like Lee and Carter and all them, and she kisses him. But then he played it smooth, not even looking behind. And so they wondering where they're gonna go now because Carter's all like, my flight's this way, and Lee's about to head back to China. So these two don't want to say goodbye to each other because they have now become more than best friends. They have become brothers and stuff. Isabella's heading to New York. So they decide, since Carter stole some of that fake money, why don't they head to New York and everything? And I assume that's where the third movie was going to take place. But no, the third movie takes place a couple of years after that. And then they head to France and stuff. So this movie is just as good as like the first. It's not as good as the first. It's not as funny, but a lot of the physicality and everything is on point. And this movie is so enjoyable. A whole lot more than that of the third. Third's all right. Don't get me wrong, but it's just something is off with the third movie.